Aija, so nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you. Thank you for having me today.
So I understand, that you've really been able to use sort of your personal challenges and your own mental health issues to inform your art. Tell me about some of the things that you've been dealing with and why it's been so helpful to to do what you do with those feelings.
So my story kind of begins when I was in third grade and I was 8 years old, and I began getting bullied. And I used to have two speech impediments, and I didn't really speak up for myself because I was bullied for the way I spoke. And I was terrified to speak up because I would continue to be mocked for the way I spoke. And the bullying got worse and worse and turned into cyberbullying. And I didn't talk about the mental health effects that I had been dealing with for so many years. And so because of that, I struggled with depression and anxiety, but I didn't really realize that for many years. And throughout that whole period, I used writing and poetry as a way to express myself and try to find meaning and work through what I had been dealing with. And so it's carried me into today, and it's continued to be a vessel for me to talk about different issues.
How helpful has it been, and what is the feeling you have when you're able to express yourself this way, and how does it lift you and kind of reduce anxiety and make you feel better?
It's been life-changing, and I think that everyone has a different way of connecting with their deepest self and their thoughts and their feelings. For me, I don't really know how I feel until I begin to write and until I perform my poetry and my work. And so I'm really lucky that I found it at a young age, particularly when I was struggling and I needed an outlet and I didn't know how to communicate or ask for help. So it's been a huge part of my journey, and I feel really lucky that I'm able to share it with people all over.
And have you been able to convince other people? I just spoke with two amazing people, a police sergeant and someone who was also dealing with depression many 15 years ago. And I think sharing their story is really helpful. Do you find that other people learn from your experience and have been able to channel what they're dealing with in different ways, even in the kind of things that you do?
Absolutely. I've definitely gotten a lot of messages from particularly young people all over the world. And that's something I never thought could possibly happen from me speaking out. But I think it shows the power and impact that sharing your story and communicating about these vulnerable parts of ourselves can really have. I always say, vulnerability breeds vulnerability. And I really think that that's true. So I'm really glad that that has been a part of this. And I also always say that it's amazing to find these outlets to express yourself in, but it's also not the end all be all goal. You also want to make sure that you are getting proper help, whether that is talking to a therapist, finding a right medication for you, or just having a support system that you actively work to communicate with.
Do you think young people today, and really all people, because of the openness of people your age, are much more willing to talk about some of the issues they're having? I think it's changed. Do you?
I think it has. I think it has. And I also think it's still very difficult to open up about parts of ourselves that are even scary to face within ourselves. And so I think we definitely have made amazing strides. And I think it's a constant work in progress. And I think there's definitely more to do.
Well, thank you so much for being here and being
Thank
so
you for having
about your own situation, so open about it. And I know you're going to be sharing a poem as we start Mental Health Awareness Month with Kenneth's great initiative to try to break down the barriers to talking and sharing and being open. So I'll let you do your thing. And it's great to meet you, Aija.
Great. Thank you. This poem is called Words to Mend. We tear down others because since birth we are taught to tear down ourselves. Everyone has a story and you don't get to know how it goes. Choose to speak with kindness and ease. Kindness and ease is not always how people's lives are going to be. Before you use your words as a weapon, let your heart step in. Check in within. Cruelty comes from our very own wounds. We tear down others because since birth we are taught to tear down ourselves. You might believe the words you speak are weak, but the echoes of a word can start revolutions. It may surprise you, but most people are wounded and those wounds are concealed. We tear down others if we choose hate over healing, cruelty over compassion. Use your words to mend. You and you alone hold all of that power.